Back here in the studio with Ambassador Yousef Zadeh, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Mr. Ambassador, can I ask you, first of all, the same questions I asked to Ambassador Hariri? First of all, also the Turkish president, when he came out of the meeting, he said that this was a good meeting, or, you know. So, do you believe that Mr. Trump indeed wants to end the war and is ready for the reconstruction of Gaza without the relocation or forcible displacement of Palestinians?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy that the President and the President of Emirates and also the Saudi Prince didn't attend the meeting. Because on a personal basis, I don't trust the American President at all. I mean, he's been talking too much ever since he assumed his position in January. We witnessed Canada, Greenland, and Mexico and other things. And when it comes to the Gaza issue, he is unable to enforce anything. I mean, the Egyptian public...
Unable or unwilling?
I think unable. Unable because we used to think years ago that America has some leverage on Israel. And it turned out that Israel has more leverage on America. So that's one thing. Second thing is, the 21 points that were declared by Trump in front of the Arab and Islamic leaders or representatives definitely has been viewed by Israel beforehand, and definitely also...
We know nothing about the 21 points so far, right?
No, they were published. They were published everywhere. Okay. The normal thing, ceasefire, administering the humanitarian aid, clearance of the exchange of prisoners, mainly the release of the hostages, the Israeli hostages. They believe 20 are still alive, and out of 48, something like that. And Hamas not being part of the equation, Palestinian Authority...
So nothing new in the 21 points.
Nothing new, and there's something, I mean, things that have been talked about before. A major Islamic Arab force with Egypt. I mean, our foreign minister declared several times that we're training 5,000 Palestinian security people. Yes. So, and also some other countries with the Palestinians. Now, there's one thing here missing. And again, I say I don't trust him. And he's supposed to deliver, the Prime Minister is supposed to deliver the speech of Israel tomorrow. I would assume nobody is going to attend as usual, as happened last year. And he's meeting Trump on Saturday morning. Now, Trump has been unable to do anything for the last few months, right? And he has been bargaining for something, the same rhetoric as Israel. Hamas release the hostages, or else nothing's going to happen. And of course, he cleared the way with the Israeli invasion, the second phase of the invasion in northern Gaza. And the famine remains, and the situation didn't change. So that's why I'm not very optimistic. Let's wait and see, as Ambassador Hariri said, and as many people are saying. We don't know what's going to happen. But it's clearly that Trump is unable to act on his own or enforce any pressure on Israel.
You chose unable and not unwilling. I mean, it's clear from your speech. I mean, you believe he's unable. Why would he be unable? I mean, supposedly he's the strongest man in the world.
For many reasons. I mean, you know, we all know that...
Public opinion has changed, Mr. Ambassador.
Yes,
I mean, within the United States, within MAGA itself.
Right. But
against Israel.
Exactly. But does public opinion affect transmitting of aid to Israel? No. Does it affect the U.S. air carrier going to the Israeli shores after 7 October immediately? No. Does it affect anything when it comes to bombing Qatar? No. American policies are not affected by this, unlike Europe. I mean, we've seen the European public pressuring the European democratic governments, and that's why. And even as we were just talking about the UK, the United Kingdom's recognition was a surprise to many people around the world because of the history. And of course something else, and because the European Union main powers are France, Germany and Italy. Now the only power that was very vocal about it is President Macron of France. Now where is Italy? She said that we can't do anything when Hamas goes out of the equation.
Right, but also she says that we're talking here about Georgia Meloni,
Yes, exactly.
that she's against the current Israeli operations and the genocide, and against the annexation of the West Bank, and for the two-state solution. So I mean, and we're seeing the Italian people. I mean, but sorry for interruption, but at least the Italian street itself is no less than the Spanish street, and of course the Spanish official position is very, very
It's the best
strong
in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. That's quite true. We've never expected that. The people in Spain really going out in hundreds of thousands every day, and even throwing rocks at Israeli tourists everywhere. So this has been amazing. But I believe that we've look at Lebanon, look at Hezbollah and the Lebanese government. I mean, throw down your arms. No, we cannot. Hamas is doing the same thing. And I think if Hamas throws down the arms, if they have any, which is, we've all seen...
have any left,
We've all seen very primitive, local sort of weapons made by them.
Much of the Hamas military infrastructure must have been damaged throughout these 2 years.
And my question is, does Israel, who pinpointed targets in Iran, and targets in Hezbollah, and Lebanon, and Syria, and Qatar, doesn't know where the hostages are? I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I think he's not interested in freeing the hostages, because it sort of blocks his plans of annexing Gaza. And
you're opening up so many points, so let me go back to the second question I put forward to Ambassador Hariri, which is the recognition of the Palestinian state. How do you see this? A very significant move or symbolic?
157, if you add the Holy See, 158 nations, fine. It's very symbolic. Okay, so the question is, where's the Palestinian state? If we're talking in practicality.
Yeah, where's the viable?
Exactly. I mean, we don't have except Ramallah, where the Palestinian Authority is. The West Bank, we know it's full of thousands of settlements. And Gaza, we all know the situation. So the thing is, this is sort of a symbolic thing. It doesn't mean anything really. I mean, there have been Palestinian embassies. We as diplomats have seen them elsewhere in the world. But these were also with the Palestinian ambassadors representing the Palestinian Authority with no job at all. So it's something symbolic.
Okay.
Right.
Europe. So public opinion in the United States, although it has changed, and although, let me just ask this first, there are some now, analysts saying Mr. Trump is going to be the last U.S. president who is going to be so, strong with Israel, or so united with Israel, and that future presidents, some analysts say, will not be able to be even like Biden. I mean, because public opinion has changed dramatically. Do you agree with this?
I'll draw one example. I mean, American public opinion has changed, yes, this is true. But it has changed against his domestic policies. When he recruited Elon Musk to organize the inner house, did anything happen with the public opinion against that? Nothing happened. When he dismisses the FBI chiefs and CIA chiefs, did anything happen? No. When he defies Congress and he defies the judiciary, courts, did anything happen? No.
And now he's redefining free speech.
And free speech. So what I'm saying, public opinion in the U.S. when Trump is there doesn't mean anything. It's unlike Europe.
Okay.
Europe is more fragile. These are
understood. Right. But after Trump, do you indeed believe that the 70 year or 80 or 100 years that we have seen of American bias will stop because public opinion has changed, and that Israel will never find another great ally or great friend like Trump?
This is interesting, but this makes me remember when President Carter, the late President Carter, had an interview something like 30 years ago, and I still remember what he said. He said, nobody would reach the position of a U.S. president or a U.S. congressman or congresswoman without being biased to Israel. This is just, ABCs of American politics.
Is this going to change? Because
I don't think so.
Because American youth are now, against the practices of the Israeli state.
Well, Mr. Ibrahim, look at the American universities last summer and the summer before. He even shut the Harvard, right?
Okay. Europe. How can we build here in the region the Arab and Muslim states who want to stand united with Palestinians, with a just Palestinian cause, and who must do so, because it's not only about Palestine. I mean, it's obvious where the Israeli right is thinking. I mean, the expansionist dreams and so-called Greater Israel. So it's in everybody's interest in the region to fight this and to try to uphold peace if the other party wants peace. But obviously this government in Tel Aviv doesn't want peace. What about Europe? I mean, how can we build on the strong changing positions of European governments? It's not just Spain. I mean, Spain, Ireland, Norway, I mean, you name it, Slovenia. It's across the board. Maybe you mentioned Italy, maybe with the exception of Germany or Hungary, but I mean, across the board, there's even talk about sanctions against Israel.
Yes, but look at the flotillas that venture through the Mediterranean heading for Gaza. Did any of them manage to do anything? With something like 50 or 60 ships. There's one on the way right now, protected by Spanish and Italian Navy. This also suffered yesterday, I think, from Israeli drones.
And Israeli drones struck a flotilla in Tunisia before, a couple of them.
Right. So what I'm saying is, look at the European governments. I mean, these are governments elected for a certain period. I mean, what happens if the Spanish government leaves and another government comes which is pro-Israel? I mean, this is quite viable. It might happen. These governments doesn't mean that the country is going to stay like this all its life. I mean, this is politics. I mean, you have elections, you have a new government, you have the left, you have the right, you have the conservatives, all that. This happens in Europe all the time. And we've seen a country like Italy where they had change of government every 5 or 6 months. So I don't rely on this very much. Public opinion is fantastic. Yes, it's a loud voice everywhere, but it doesn't solve the problem in Gaza.
Okay. What about the Arab Muslim leaders meeting itself and
yes,
in Doha?
Well, two very important things happened the last few days. We had a Saudi-Pakistani pact. And also, we had, for the first time in 15 years, I think...
The Egyptian-Turkish naval drills, joint naval drills.
The joint maneuvers. So, we never imagined. You know, we remember Erdogan was totally against President Sisi. He even talked, he was very vocal in the UN General Assembly at one time, because of Morsi and all that. So now we have Turkey and Egypt, and we have Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. What does this mean if you look at it? It means that these four countries, including Egypt, we are looking at other ways of forging ties with countries that have strong military power, so that we can also protect our own interests. I think Turkey looks at Egypt the same thing we look at them, is that we're a power in the area and we should work together. Same thing with Saudi Arabia with a nuclear power like Pakistan.
Where is Iran from all of this?
Iran has very good relations with Egypt throughout the past year. I mean, we've seen the Iranian president coming here a couple of times, I think.
The Egyptian mediation with the IAEA.
With the IAEA, and we never imagined this. Of course, this has definitely an American endorsement, because nothing like this might happen with the Egyptian government on its own. Unfortunately, that's how things work. But would you have imagined a few months ago that Egypt would broker an agreement between the agency and Iran?
That was a development.
With embassies still minimized to a section of interests. We even don't have full diplomatic relations with that country. But then again, the foreign minister of Iran has been here, actually, has been here 5 or 6 times within a year. And he
Mr. Larijani, the representative of the for the supreme leader in Iran, visited Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Recently.
Well, Saudi Arabia, they restored relations with Iran a few months ago.
Yeah. I mean, also the Riyadh-Tehran relations, I mean, things are changing.
I think Saudi Arabia with Iran, it's because of the Yemen and Houthis. I mean, they're tired of the war, and they decided that's it. And that was a very wise move. Pull out of the Yemen and make ties with Iran.
So generally speaking, did you like the outcome of the Arab Muslim leaders meeting in Doha?
I didn't like the outcome because what has been said, I only enjoyed, and this is not because we're Egyptian patriots, I enjoyed listening to the president's speech. He called Israel the enemy. And he talked to the Egyptian public, to the Israeli public, I'm sorry, saying that you are playing with your risk in the peace treaty between both countries. I think this speech of President Sisi was very elaborate, short, concise, to the point. But the other speeches were sort of, you know, the traditional speeches. The meeting, of course, was followed by something very strange, is a military pact between
Saudi Arabia and Pakistan.
Not that, between Qatar and
the United States.
Exactly.
Let's watch this report, dear viewers, Mr. Ambassador,
Please.
About the catastrophic situation in Gaza City especially. And then when we come back, we will wrap up our discussion here about Gaza and the boiling Middle East situation.
The UN and humanitarian partners warned that nearly 1 million civilians in Gaza City who have been told to leave by the Israeli military have nowhere safe to go. Gazans are witnessing a dangerous escalation in Gaza City, where Israeli forces have stepped up their operations and ordered everyone to move south. Nearly 1 million people are now left with no safe or viable options. Neither the north nor the south offer safety. The warning comes 2 weeks after famine was confirmed in Gaza Governorate. According to latest figures from the World Health Organization-led health cluster, 361 Palestinians have died due to malnutrition since the war began nearly 2 years ago, including 130 children. Over 500,000 people are living in catastrophic conditions marked by starvation, destitution and death. Civilians who try to leave northern Gaza face dangerous and barely passable roads, overcrowded shelters and prohibitive transport costs, sums that most families simply cannot afford. Survivors in Gaza are exhausted, aid agencies said, underscoring that both civilians and the health infrastructure they rely on must never be targeted. Al-Shifa and Al-Ahli facilities in Gaza City are operating at nearly 3 times capacity, with mass casualty incidents averaging 8 per day. If a wider Israeli offensive proceeds, the Gaza Strip could lose half its remaining hospital beds, the health agencies warned. Fuel, water and supply routes must remain open and uninterrupted, agencies said, warning of devastating consequences if access is further obstructed.
Yes, thank you, dear viewers, for staying with us, and many thanks to Manal Al-Abiari and Khalid Abdelbari for this report. And we're back here with Ambassador Yousef Zadeh, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Mr. Ambassador, it is a volatile situation in the Middle East, and you mentioned earlier Hezbollah, and when you were talking about the Israeli violations and attacks, we mentioned together Syria. So I wanted to ask you about the Syrian file specifically, yes, if you'll allow me, because there is talk now that there could be a meeting, I mean rumors so far, nothing official, but a meeting between the war crime suspect Israeli Prime Minister and the new Syrian president,
Ahmad Shara.
Yes. And there is mediation, U.S. mediation, obviously, to get some sort of deal between Syria and Israel. If this happens, how will it affect the entire
Yes.
scene?
Luckily, I've worked in Syria a long time ago, and I was consul there. And by the way, I visited Naya prison because there were some Egyptians there. So I toured Syria. Syria is a very small country. And I spent something like 3 years there. But that was a long time ago. Now look at the situation now. We have Al-Swaida and we have the Druze. And we have Druze in Israel. And we have, of course, the strikes and and warnings against please don't touch the Druze or else something else will be done. And they took over the Sheikh mountain. Golan Heights are still as they are, of course. And they have a deal with Syria to, like the one that happened with Camp David with the Sinai, to 3 divisions, 3 different colors of the area where Suwaida and Jabal Sheikh is. This man, of course, I don't think we have good relations with him in Egypt, so I can speak freely. He attended, of course, the May Arab Summit, and his speech in the Doha Summit was less than a minute. He has very good relations with Israel, whether he likes it or not, because he was brought by the West. I mean, I believe he was brought by an American Turkish car to, not the car literally, but, you know, by them, to his Qasr al-Shab in Damascus, okay? And this man...
He's in a very tough position.
He's in a very tough position. He, of course, he knows how to talk. We have to, in his speech in the UN, I listened to it yesterday. It was also no attendees sitting. And he talked about the Israeli aggression against his country and all that.
And he wants to go back to the 74
armistice,
deal, right?
Yes,
yeah.
armistice deal.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think this man believes what he says. I mean, he wants to stay in power. They brought him, and remember when they brought him, who was the first person who visited him? The head of the General Assembly now, the German foreign minister. So she rushed, and remember she was wearing casual and all that. I'm not saying she's a bad woman or something, no. I'm saying that this is a shift of European policies, as we talked about public opinion. This woman was the first one to be there, and she went with the French foreign minister at that time, and the visits went on and on and on. And we in Egypt, of course, we took things very cautiously. We had a very...
And now even America and Mr. Trump has lifted all the sanctions against Syria. But specifically, I wanted to ask you, how will this change the equation? If there is, they go back to the 74 armistice deal or any sort of deal between Syria and Israel, how will this change the situation across the board? Because it seems to be a very important issue.
I don't think anything would happen in Syria, and I think the Israeli plan would be enforced on him, on the president of Syria. The division of the categories of the southern Syria is going to be divided. The Druze are going to be part of Israel almost under their protection. But there's something funny I want to talk about.
So you don't think there will be a deal?
I think there will be a deal when it comes to secret rooms, not in public. I mean, he can't say this in public. I mean, this man is a member of the Arab League. I mean, for God's sake, he can't go in front of the Arab conferences, says, listen, we have a deal with Israel. But if you notice, President Trump was what? He worked in real estate. Even Mr. Barak, who was in charge of Syria, he was also in real estate. Of course, we talk about as well Witkoff. So who's left? I mean, we are talking about the Gaza Riviera. Not surprisingly, we're talking with 3 people who are interested in building condos on the beach.
Tom Barak had some very controversial statements. The whole world heard them. What do you think?
I think this man is a very arrogant man. I saw him meeting our foreign minister yesterday, Eastern Time. And our foreign minister is very active. He met so many officials over there. And I think this man is sort of trying to manipulate the Syrians into accepting all the Israeli
conditions.
Exactly.
Back to Gaza, Mr. Ambassador. So we have 21 points. You said you see nothing new in this. You and Ambassador Hariri, whom we had on the phone, are both skeptical, obviously, very cautious. You're taking a very cautious approach. Although, again, I mean, from what we've heard from the Turkish president following the meeting in New York with Mr. Trump and leaders and top officials from Arab and Muslim countries, and from what Dr. Madbouli told President Sisi today, that, you know, things seem to maybe give us some hope.
Yes, I'd like to point out something here very imperative. I mean, I'm not very fond of Hamas, but anyway, look at Hamas, okay? Now, what are the conditions of the other parties? Give up your arms and surrender, and nothing will happen to you. Do you really believe this? You don't think that Israel is going to snatch these guys and put them on trial? And perhaps throw them in prison for the next 30 years? So, and who gives up the arms if you're accused of killing my people? I'm talking about the IDF and all that. It's not that easy.
But Israel wants to, you know, Israel's also in a tough position. and they want to, you know, enough is enough, because they are also losing, despite the fact that the Hamas military infrastructure must have been damaged very hard. There are still day in and day out, you know, operations.
I differ with you, sir. I don't think Israel is in a tough position. I think the U.S. is in a tough position. Why? Because the whole world, the whole Europe,
It's
the whole
mainly
Arab,
the
whole world and the Arab countries in Europe are looking at the U.S. as helpless. So it's the
That's
U.S.
true.
The US
But
who
Israel
who are in
also,
trouble.
I mean, its image has been
They don't care.
okay.
They're used to this.
Okay, back to Hamas. Back to the point that you mentioned. It's one thing to tell Hamas, surrender your arms and give up yourselves to the Israelis. It's another thing if you're going to give these arms, say, to the joint Arab Muslim force, whatever, to the newly reformed, elected Palestinian Authority. I mean, this is one thing, and that's another. So.
And this was an Egyptian suggestion, by the way, that Egypt's going to handle Hamas crossing the border into Egyptian territory. But who guarantees they wouldn't be shot by snipers on the way? I mean, who's going to protect the...
We'll have to take the risk, I guess. I mean,
who's going to protect these people then?
The Israeli plans, the obvious plans from day one, that Egypt saw from day one, to forcibly displace or relocate the Palestinians from the lands into Sinai. How do you see these efforts at the moment, and how do you see the Egyptian preparation at the moment for preventing this?
I don't think, and I have to say this here live, I don't think the Egyptian-American relations are at its best. First, we were asked to...
You said Egyptian-American?
American. Why?
I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
American. Why?
Yeah.
No relocation of Palestinians into Sinai, number one. Number two, please, no fees for crossing the Suez Canal for our vessels. No, sorry, we can't. Number three, please join us into the battle against Houthis. No, sorry, we can't. And now, number four, you have to convince Hamas to surrender the remaining live and dead hostages. And we said, well, you already tried to kill the mediators in Qatar. So I don't think relations between us and the U.S. are at its best, but nonetheless, we're talking to them like everybody else. So where do we stand now? We stand at an American administration unable, and again I say unable, not unwilling, to do anything against the Israeli aggression in Gaza. I'm not sure they're going to stop the war. We'll wait and see. And as I said before, the unfortunate events in Gaza with the famine and all that, they simply don't care. I mean, look at Smotrich and the other guy, they look, listen to their speeches. I mean, they simply, everybody's denying that people are dying of hunger.
Slovenia, I think it was Slovenia. Slovenia set another great position, I mean, from a great country.
The lady president.
Yeah.
Right.
Said that Netanyahu, Smotrich and Ben Gvir will be arrested if they enter. So they cannot enter Slovenia.
And have you watched the Colombian president? He said we have to wage war. He's used to the FARC over there. They have problems with the FARC.
I mean, it was an amazing speech, I mean, the Colombian president. And he accused Mr. Trump of being like the head of a mafia or something, and I mean his speech was so strong.
Yes, and look at something which is not so many people. I mean, everybody saw the videos, but not so many people thought about it. Escalator heading to the General Assembly. Of course, the UN staff are not very happy with them, and they stopped it. Okay. Now, what you call these things that they
the autocue.
Okay. Of course it was done deliberately. I mean,
I believe Mr. Trump asked for an inquiry.
Yes, I mean the UN and the staff are, I mean, they go with the public opinion in the world. I mean, these are international employees as well, and even the Americans working there. I don't think they're very happy with Trump coming to the General Assembly. So I think this. Look at what happened to Macron and the Turkish president in the streets, and I think it was also staged to have, you know, some publicity, because, you know, people put them online and all that. So there are so many funny things when it comes to the 80th
Yeah. And Mr. Trump's words to Mr. Lula da Silva also.
Yes.
I mean, that was...
I mean, enforcing 50% fees, tariffs, and then saying we're good friends. I mean, he keeps saying we're good friends even with President Putin.
Yeah. But he now more recently, but he's confusing us, I think, confusing the whole world. The most recent statement about Mr. Putin about Russia is that Russia is a weak country that has, according to him, entre parenthèses, a weak country that has a lot of economic problems, and that Ukraine now is ready for victory. That's the latest we've heard from him.
Yes, very interesting thing, I agree, is you'd never find Trump mentioning Egypt by the name. The last time he mentioned Egypt was when he said Egypt and Jordan, they might take the people of Gaza.
And when he talked about Egypt, Ethiopia, and the dam.
And the dam. And of course, when he talks about ending 7 wars, everybody is laughing around the world, and we also...
One of them is the
we tried to count them.
Ethiopian,
ridiculous, really. So I can speak freely. I'm a retired ambassador. I'm not in the government. I can speak for myself. But I don't think this man is doing good to America nor the world.
All right, so we are at risk of a stalemate in Gaza, more starvation, more deaths, more killings.
I'd like to think, as ambassador, my good friend Ambassador Hariri said earlier, we should wait and see. I mean, we should know what is going to happen on Saturday. Nobody knows. Definitely there are consultations between both parties, the Israelis and Americans, all the time, and they know what they agree on. But would Israel agree on stopping the war? Where is the condition of the hostages? And Hamas, for God's sake, why don't you release the hostages and end the whole thing? Because they know if they do that, they will be bombed.
Well, it's going to end up to maybe trying to draw a picture, some picture of victory. I mean, if they have this even small painting of victory, maybe they will go for it.
Yes, but there's a contradiction here. Hamas holds the hostages so that they keep them alive. They keep Hamas people alive. But Israel, what do the Israelis do? They bomb everything, killing their own hostages as well. So what are we talking about? Why don't you release them and end things so that the others don't have this condition? And I was listening to Abu Mazen, 3 months ago when he said, you sons of bitches, please release them. Remember that?
Yeah.
He said it in Arabic. So I don't see any reason we should hold the hostages. Maybe.
But you yourself said...
Maybe they don't know where they are.
But you yourself, Mr. Ambassador, said that you don't trust the Americans or the Israelis. Maybe they'll give up the hostages and still face more killings, more siege and more starvation.
And look at Hezbollah in Lebanon. They have a much better army. And they never ventured except to pinpoint the leaders.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Yousef Zadeh, former Assistant Foreign Minister. It's been a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching tonight's edition of the Daily Debate. Please stay with us.